The intern doctor is a genius. He's performing liver surgery right out in the open, hacking away like he's butchering a piece of pork. It's only his third day as a doctor, and the older doc beside him can only watch helplessly. And where's this crazy operation going down? On the highway, of all places. There's a huge traffic jam building up behind. The cop on the scene is just flabbergasted. This is nuts. He's even more mind-blowing than that woman who gave birth in my police cruiser last time. What the heck is going on here? It's Sean's third day at work. Dr. Claire gets an urgent call. Their hospital has scored a liver donor. You know, there are over 800 people across the nation every day who are desperate for a healthy liver transplant. For them to get this opportunity, it's like hitting the jackpot. A liver, you see, has only an 8-hour lifespan from the moment it's removed from the body to when it has to be transplanted. After 8 hours, it turns hard and loses its viability. Dr. Neil Melendez dispatches Dr. Claire and Sean to the hospital in San Francisco pronto to retrieve the liver and bring it back for a patient named Chuck's liver transplant. The two of them hustle up to the rooftop helipad and board the helicopter. Sean, with autism, his brain is simply an analysis machine. Just by looking, he can conjure up the helicopter's schematic in his mind. Sean says it's his first time in a helicopter. Dr. Claire gripes that she's been reduced to a glorified gopher. When they get to the San Francisco hospital, they're stunned to find the liver's already been harvested. It's been 3 hours and 5 minutes already. They've got 4 hours and 55 minutes to spare. The liver's in a thermostatic container, and the temperature has to be kept between 39.2 and 46.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Otherwise, the liver's as good as dead. Sean starts a painstaking examination of the liver. The detailed breakdown of the liver immediately flashes in his mind. Sean gives the liver a gentle palpation. The initial assessment indicates it's healthy. In the locker room, Dr. Claire calls the hospital director and vents that working with Sean is a nightmare. Sean's a man of few words. They've got no synergy at all. The director tells Dr. Claire to be more understanding. After all, Sean's autistic. The prodigious Dr. Sean's like a clairvoyant. When Dr. Claire and Sean reach the helipad, Sean says, "We're grounded." Dr. Claire protests, "No way. We can make it back without a hitch." But right then, the helicopter pilot saunters over and says, "We're not flying. It's fogged in. The weather's lousy. This fog could linger for hours." So they've got no choice but to hit the road. Dr. Claire's sharp. She manages to round up a police car to escort them back to the hospital. But Sean balks at getting in. The flashing police lights stir up memories. Turns out, on the night his brother died, the cops brought him home, but he just wouldn't get out of the car. Home's like a living nightmare for him. But don't worry, Sean won't let this derail things. He gets in the car eventually. At this moment, there's 3 hours and 30 minutes left on the timer for the thermostatic box. The cop tells them it'll take about 70 minutes to reach St. Bonaventure Hospital. It seems like they're in the clear time-wise, but the obstacles that crop up next are anything but a smooth ride. This patient is just crazy. He actually had a drink before a liver transplant operation. Patient Chuck is all set for the liver transplant and has to undergo various pre-op tests first. Chuck's only got 3 months to live. This liver transplant is like a new lease on life for him. But Chuck's blood report shows alcohol in it. You know, patients aren't supposed to drink alcohol 6 months before surgery. Dr. Kalu goes over and grills him about whether he drank. Only then does Chuck confess that he had a tiny glass of wine 3 days ago at his daughter's college graduation. Watching his daughter graduate is his lifelong dream. No one from their hometown has ever made it to college. According to the medical protocol, patients who've had alcohol can't have a liver transplant. But Dr. Neil Melendez just can't bear to let this opportunity slip away. They got this liver after so much trouble. Now they're in a real bind about whether the surgery can go ahead. Meanwhile, over on the other side of St. Bonaventure Hospital, the chief surgeon in Sean's department has landed a huge gig performing an operation on a VIP patient. When rich patients are in the hospital director takes care of them personally. If the VIP patient's surgery goes well, the hospital will get a big tax break. The higher-ups want Dr. Melendez to assist the surgical chief. It's like adding an extra layer of security for the VIP's surgery, but the chief won't have it. He thinks people will laugh at him and say his medical skills are no good. Meanwhile, Sean's in the car, constantly looking at the liver scans. At this point, Dr. Claire realizes there's a huge problem. The temperature in the box is rising. They need to cool it down right away. The police car pulls up at a small supermarket. Dr. Claire throws a bunch of ice creams into the box, but the temperature just won't drop. Sean says that won't cut it. It has to be soaked in ice water. Have you ever heard of using juice to cool a liver? Only the amazing Sean could come up with such a cooling solution. Soon, the temperature in the box drops. There's hope for the patient's liver transplant. The two get back in the police car and continue on their journey. But a much bigger crisis is just around the corner. On the road, Sean's really on edge. He's either looking at the scans or feeling the liver. Dr. Claire asks him what's going on. Sean says there's a blood clot in the liver. The patient will die if they use this liver. Sean's trying to locate the clot. It has to be removed right away. Otherwise, once it clots on the liver's no good. Dr. Claire, on the other hand, can't spot the clot even after staring at the scans for ages. Turns out the scans were taken when the liver was still in the body. After the liver's removed, it needs to be rinsed with a special solution. Clearly, that didn't happen here. Sean's frantic. In 5 minutes, the liver will be useless. The two tell the police to stop the car immediately. Intern Dr. Sean's actually going to perform the liver operation outdoors. They start removing the blood clots from the liver right there on the car's trunk. Claire suggests cut from the liver vein. But Sean's like, cutting through the ligament will make the smallest incision. Sean's a wizard. In his mind, he instantly breaks the liver down into 7 structural groups. He knows every single blood vessel in there like the back of his hand. Without batting an eye, Sean makes the cut, just as if he's carving pork. They flip the liver over. Claire uses the tweezers to pluck out a tiny blood clot from inside. Claire's starting to be in awe of Sean. But there's more. They need a suction tube for the venous cannulation, so they use a drinking straw instead. Sean teams up a syringe with the straw and successfully flushes out the blood clots in the liver using the special UW solution. Smooth sailing. Claire's all smiles. The cop can't stop raving, "Holy cow, you two are something else. You're even cooler than that birth in the car situation last time." The two stash the liver away and hit the road again. Never touch a drop of alcohol. Chuck had just a teensy bit, and now he's only got 3 months to live. Over at the hospital, Dr. Melendez is scribbling calculations on the glass. Finally, he figures out that Chuck's blood alcohol concentration is 0.02. So, yep, he really did have just a small glass of wine. They could still go ahead with the operation. It's better than just letting him die. But the hospital bigwigs are having none of it, taking such a huge risk to operate on a patient who's had a drink. If the op bombs, the hospital's rep will be toast, and they can kiss future liver donors goodbye. Meanwhile, the chief surgeon's knee-deep in the VIP patient's operation. And they've hit a snag. There are a ton of nerves near the neck. One wrong move and the patient's having a stroke and the op's a bust. Then the hospital can forget about that sweet tax break. No choice. The chief has to call in Dr. Melendez as an assistant. Only then does the operation come off without a hitch. The liver's only got 57 minutes of life left in it, and the patient's counting on it to save his bacon. Sean and Claire finally make it back to the hospital. But then Claire gets a call and finds out that Chuck can't have the liver transplant because of that drink. The liver's going to another hospital. Claire's crushed. It means her patient's only got 3 months to live. 30 minutes later, Claire hands the liver over to the other hospital. After the car drives off, Sean's as cool as a cucumber. He says, "It's a beautiful day."
We saved a life.
Not Chuck's, but still. That makes Claire's eyes open wide. Yeah, they did save a life. On the flip side, Chuck's checking out of the hospital. No point in hanging around with just 3 months left. Dr. Melendez sees them off. The VIP patient's operation's a huge success. He's puffing on a cigar in the corridor. That's hospital life for you. There's life and there's death. After a crazy busy day, Sean heads home. He cracks open a can of food and sets it on the balcony, waiting for his precious little cat. This is the 3rd episode of the 1st season of The Good Doctor. The Good Doctor series will keep on rolling. If you're into it, stay tuned. Remember to like and subscribe. Catch you next time. Bye.